Hello and welcome back to one of our mini training sessions on Workbooks CRM aimed at existing Workbooks users or indeed anyone seriously looking at Workbooks as a new CRM system. And in this one, we're going to cover what's called the Field Updater plugin. So the Field Updater plugin for Workbooks is a powerful tool designed to automate and simplify data management within your CRM system. The plugin enables users to select a set of records and then apply a bulk update to specified fields of a certain value. Now, this can be done through a very user-friendly way, as you know, with Workbooks, allowing you for quick and efficient data modifications without the need for any complex database queries or any external tools. So in this session, we'll run through a simple example of updating the value in a commission field. Imagine we've got salespeople and they're getting commission on their sales. So we're going to update a commission field in an opportunity record in Workbooks. But this example, with a bit of imagination, it could be carried out across other record types as well. So hello, my name is Tim Wilmot, joined by my colleague Stuart Lawrenson. Hi, pass over to Stuart in a minute. Our company Wizard Systems, we're a leading independent CRM solutions provider of systems like Workbooks, and we help our organizations use simple solutions to improve their sales, marketing, and customer service productivity. So thanks for joining us today, those of you on here live, part of our regular series of events, calls, focusing on different topics around Workbooks. As I say, in this one, we're going to cover that field updater. Now, the audio part of this call is one way only. If you've got a question, please pop that into the question box on your meeting control panel. Do our best to answer that at the end. Right, so over to you, Stuart.
As mentioned, we're going to have a look at this brilliant little plugin, the Field Updater. Its job is really simple. It looks for a change and updates a field on a particular record. It could be monitoring the last time a record was updated, the date and time of a most recent phone call, or as I'll show you, and Tim mentioned, update a commission field based on the value of an opportunity. Now, all of these are fairly easy to do, and you're walked through the process. So, how to begin? Now, I'm going to start at the end by creating the opportunity for a record, and then we'll see the updater in action. So I've got Mr. Gene Kelly's record open. If I go to an opportunity and I click New Opportunity, you'll see my new commission field is here. So I'll call this Contest. Give it a date. I think this will expire at the end of the month. Don't want to push it too much. Add a line item. These are just test line items that we've got in our system, so I'm going to sell 5 of these. And I update those. That's absolutely fine. If we save to make sure this is good, there's my items, $449.95. And you notice this field is empty. Now what's going to happen is the field updater has noticed that this has been created. And so in the background, as part of the process, that's going to take the total of my line items and create the commission rate for me. So how is all this happening? So let me close this down. Make sure it's in there ready for me. It all takes place through a report. And this report in the system is told to look for changes. Now, my report here is just called Op Field, Updater, and Commission. I wanted to keep it something so I knew where I was looking for it. I'm not going to go into too much details, but the idea is that you make yourself a nice blank report and start building it. Now, one thing I will point out to you, and it is important, and if you skip it, it doesn't work. So here's your technical bit. When you create your field, your report, you must type in that the category is Field Updater. because it's not available in the drop down because it's a process that runs in the background, so it's not normally available. So just type field updater, then go ahead, add the details of your report, and you'll notice what I've done here is basic report, and it's just given me all the reports, his commission, his commission value, so it's just working some stuff out for me. No criteria. Now you have to add yourself a summary tab. Again, I've renamed mine, so it's again easy to see. And this one's called Commission Update Summary. I'm not going to go nerdy on reports. This one is really simple. And all I've done is I've pulled through 3 columns from the report itself. The ID, the op ID. Now the lock version, here's a field a lot of people won't have seen, but they will have seen it in action. If you've ever opened a record to edit it, and you've been editing, and then for some reason you open up the same record again, and you go to edit it, you get a little pop-up on top of the screen saying, you've got this open somewhere else. That's the lock version. And this makes sure that the updater is only working on the most recent version of anything that's open. So that's all that is. And then the commission, what commission rate you're using. And this is just the field that determines who gets what when you're working out the money that someone gets. And it can be as elaborate as you want. Mine is really simple. It's take the opportunity total and give me 10% of it and put that 10% ready to be used. And you can be as elaborate as you want. You can get really clever with these formula fields. So that's the report. And again, there's nothing in here to work on at the moment, which is hopefully very good. So if we've timed it right, it means that the plugin has actually completed its work whilst I've been talking. We'll check on that in a minute. So that's it in action. That's the report it's running. So now we've got the report ready. Now we can go and have a look at the plugin itself. And for that, we go into configuration, into automation, and finally, the plugins. Now you can see here that mine is installed, and it just means that when you go to install it, it just asks you to click an install button, and it tells you what it's going to do automatically. But that bit is really easy. Once it is installed and it's confirmed it, and you get your pop-up, it'll actually run in a section called Other Integrations. And there's the field updater. I'm going to make this full screen so it becomes a bit easier to read. And now you can see my one field updater running, op field updater, commas, commission, summary, and it's running, and you can see mine is there, it's active. I can go into this and you can see how it's laid out. Now, those are the 3 fields from that summary in the report, and there's a mapping. It's going to take the information from the new summary, from the new commission column in the summary, and put it into my custom field that we all saw at the start in that opportunity. And it will run and just tell me that it's done it. So that's it running, and you can have loads of these running. There's an option at the bottom to add, and the same thing, you just go back to the start. You add your report. If you have to have custom fields, you add those as well. Make sure the report shows what you're after, and then you come into here and just set the system up and say, based on the report, do this when this happens. So that's the updater in place. So what should happen, if we go back to Mr. Gene Kelly, and I go to my opportunities, process runs on a schedule. It's designed to run every minute, but if it's caught itself in the middle of other processes running, it may be 3 or 4 minutes before it runs. But you can see what's happened here. I've got my line items, calculation, there's my total, and the field updater takes that information for me and works out the commission. And as I said before, the commission can be a simple one like mine, 10%, or it can be based on the user that's logged in. The particular line items that you're selling may have different rates, but they're all controlled by the report. The field updater just takes that resulted value and pops it into that field for me, so that I don't have to do any of the complex calculations. And really, that's it. The field updater updating fields based on criteria in a report. And with that, I'll hand things back to Tim.
Thanks very much, Stuart. So 10%, quite a generous commission rate. Right.
Sorry.
So just before you give us any questions around this topic, just a brief mention. Again, I know many of you on the call will be familiar with us, but we're a long-standing provider, independent provider of different CRM solutions, over 30 years experience. As regards workbooks, we're a one-stop shop. We provide any kind of service around workbooks, implementation, setting it up, integrating with other applications, giving you and your staff training, and the ongoing help desk support as well. Right. So yes, if you've got any questions on this, maybe just while you're thinking of any questions, I'll just run through some other examples I thought of using the Field Updater plugin. So an example might be when you're taking new leads or lead source updates, and your marketing team has found maybe a group of leads that have been marked incorrectly, that the lead source, and you want to be able to update that lead source with the correct value for all those affected lead records. So that'd be a good example there. Territory reassignment. So you've got sales territories and requiring the assignment of accounts to various salespeople. Use that field updater to update the territory and account manager on all the kind of impacted or relevant records. Customer status changes. A group of customers have recently renewed their contracts maybe, and they want to change their status to some kind of active status. So again, use the field updater to modify that sort of status field or whatever to pending renewal or active or whatever the terminology might be. And there's loads of examples that you can think of where you want to get this updater to kick into action and making sure that your records are correctly identified. So, you know, the benefits really of using this kind of feature is you're going to save time, all right? You're going to reduce that time spent on manually. You don't want people manually scrolling through the database, updating record by record. It's wasting time. You could induce some errors there. Data accuracy, because of those errors, you want to reduce those. You want to automate it through using the field updater. We're keeping our database up to date, and we've got improved data management, enhancing the overall quality and reliability. You always want that in your CRM system. Think about reporting. We mentioned reports as an element as a mechanism to do this automation for you, but once that data's in there, you've got more accurate and up-to-date fields and generating more reliable reports and gaining sort of better insights on the business operations there. And think about your users as well. Nothing's worse than trawling through records that are out of date or they're incorrect or they don't have the right data in them. You want to make sure that the data maintenance tasks are taken away from them and we've got accurate data in front of us. Right, so questions then. Looks like we've got a few, Stuart. A couple from Ruth. Is the field updater plugin compatible with our custom fields and configurations in Workbooks CRM? We've got several industry specific fields that we've added to our system.
The answer is yes. In fact, my demo included a custom field. The commission field itself was one that I added ready for this test.
Okay, and part two, well, Ruth's second question, how does the field, this is a good one, how does the field updater plugin handle data validation? If we're updating multiple records at once, how can we ensure we're not introducing errors or overwriting important information? Yeah, that's really important. You don't want you're updating the field with a value and that value is incorrect. It's like 2 steps forwards and 3 steps backwards. So how do we ensure data validation?
Right. That leads nicely back to the report itself, because the field updater is just taking that last part of the report. You know, by the time you've built the report, that everything is correct, that your formulas are right, your fields are right, your spellings are correct. Because when you put in your criteria in, it will validate that criteria to give you your result. And it's the result that the field updater will be working with.
Yeah, so check and test. Right, Frankie. So the example you gave, what happens to new opportunity records? How do they get that figure in?
As partially demonstrated by me, the field updater, once you've made the field updater go live, like a lot of the processes in the system, you can determine how often it runs. So it could be, as if it's an important field, it could be as much as every minute. So it's running every minute of every day. Or it might not be an important field. You want it to run out of hours and just make sure the data is ready for the next day. But you control it. Out of the box, it's every minute of every day. And of course, that includes whether you're logged in or not, the process is still running on the engine in the background.
Yes, it's all automatic. Final question, I think, from Rosella. Well, pretty obvious question. Does it cost anything?
Oh, I didn't mention that, did I? No, it doesn't. It's just available as you saw. You go into the plugins, and it's available there to install and configure.
Yeah, and you've just seen some of the other plugins we've got in that little demo as well. So lots of other enhancements that you can add to your workbook system. Okay, don't think there's any more questions. Thanks, the three of you, for those. Just giving you an update as of September 2024. Current release, we're on 7.3. Do you want a CRM review there? We do free reviews, looking at the way you're using CRM and coming up with enhancements and suggestions for you. It is a free call that we do, normally about half an hour duration. Please contact us for more information on that. And if you're a Workbooks user, have you got any ideas for future topics future events that we like to run aimed at existing Workbooks users, then drop us a line on that if you've got any ideas. So thanks very much to those of you on here live, or if you're watching a recording. We'll catch up with you soon on the next Workbooks event. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye.